Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at noon.
Honestly, the public transport system in Orlando, it's like, I feel like we have the facilities there, but they're not being utilized properly.
Now at noon, voters across Central Florida head to the polls. The big races we're following. Candace.
And on this election day, temperatures are going to continue to rebound back into the upper 70s, but things will get even warmer as we head throughout the rest of the week. We'll have your full forecast in minutes.
I have to decide whether to put gas in my car or buy something to eat.
And an update from the government on how SNAP will be funded and how much people can expect to receive. But first, we start with breaking news at noon. Troopers are working a deadly crash in Seminole County. Investigators say it happened on County Road 419 near Oviedo. That's where an SUV crashed into a pole, killing the driver. We are working to learn more. We'll bring you updates on air and online at clickorlando.com. And a sad update this afternoon. Former Vice President Dick Cheney, who served under President George W. Bush from 2001 to 2009, has died. Cheney spent 30 years in Washington before becoming President Bush's running mate. We're taking a look back at Cheney's life. Following 9/11, Vice President Dick Cheney was a prominent player in the war against terrorism.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction.
That statement helped lay the groundwork for the invasion of Iraq, but it proved to be false. Critics accused Cheney and others in the Bush administration of deliberately deceiving the American public to justify the Iraq War. Cheney blamed bad intelligence and remained an influential advisor to President Bush.
Dick Cheney, a man of great integrity, sound judgment, and experience.
Richard Bruce Cheney had been a player in Washington politics for 30 years when George W. Bush tapped him to be his running mate. Cheney's resume was impressive. Starting as an assistant in the Nixon White House, he served as Gerald Ford's chief of staff. 5 terms as Wyoming's representative in Congress followed. At age 37, he suffered his first heart attack. He suffered 3 more heart attacks before becoming vice president. Cheney was an avid sportsman. While hunting in Texas, the vice president accidentally shot his friend. Harry Whittington survived, but Cheney was criticized for failing to disclose the accident in a timely fashion. After leaving office, Cheney was openly critical of the new Obama administration. He engaged in a public duel with Vice President Joe Biden over how to battle al-Qaeda and any terror suspects. He also defended the use of waterboarding on terror suspects as necessary to protect the nation. In 2010, Cheney suffered more cardiac problems and had a heart transplant 2 years later. Cheney once said his heart issues were always on his mind, but they never seemed to slow the career politician who many consider the most powerful vice president in American history. Dick Cheney was 84. It is Election Day in Orlando. 3 city commission seats are up for grabs. That includes District 5, where suspended Commissioner Regina Hill is trying to win her way back into office. News 6's Mark Lehman is at one of the precincts where voters are deciding the city council's future.
Today we noticed things looking pretty busy at polling places like this one for Orlando's District 5. Now, this race has been one of the most contentious, but the seat is as equally as important as every seat that's on today's ballot. Some last-minute campaigning as Orlando voters are heading to the polls in 3 districts. Orange County Supervisor of Elections watching over the process.
This is where so much of what our daily lives, how they're affected by these local races.
There are several key issues in Districts 1, 3, and 5, including transportation and affordable housing.
I know people need housing, but don't put them all in this neighborhood.
In District 1, current Commissioner Jim Gray is going up against 3 challengers. For District 3, 5 challengers are facing off for that seat. District 5, meanwhile, has 3 candidates, including former Commissioner Regina Hill, who was suspended by Governor Ron DeSantis following her arrest last year for fraud and elderly exploitation.
I voted for redemption, restoration, revitalization.
We spoke with Hill after casting her ballot and asked about a recent clash with interim Commissioner Shan Rose. Video posted on Hill's Facebook page last week showing a heated confrontation.
Today I'm focused on the future. Yesterday troubles and things of the past don't matter anymore.
But the past still lingers for Hill. As her trial is still pending, she says her focus is on what she can do for voters if she comes out successful today.
I have not gotten off the wall. I've continued to fight for the people.
Voters in districts 1, 3, and 5 have until 7 tonight to cast their ballots, and we'll be following the results as they come in. You can track the votes as well under the homepage of clickorlando.com. In Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
And Orlando isn't the only place where voters are headed to the polls today. Lake Helen and New Smyrna Beach in Volusia County are holding elections, as are Indialantic and Melbourne Beach in Brevard County. And several Lake County cities are also having elections, including Groveland. Lake County announcing today it plans to have Wolf Branch Road reopened in about 4 weeks following a washout after major flooding. Work is underway, according to the county, and relies on work done by the gas and power companies. County leaders say the road will have increased drainage capacity and will be able to better handle runoff from nearby businesses. Leaders say beginning work on the Britt Road washout from Hurricane Milton is an issue of ownership. The county doesn't own enough land on each side of the road to complete those repairs the same way it does with Wolf Branch. The county says it's working with FDOT and the Federal Highway Administration to get grants to buy the necessary right-of-way and land to pay for construction costs. A doctor from Winter Park won't be facing charges after being arrested last month in connection to a house party where investigators say there was underage drinking. In a court filing, the state said the evidence wouldn't overcome one or more of Hal Tran's defenses at trial. Investigators say more than 30 students were at the doctor's Winter Park home. At least one teen was taken to the hospital. The charges, including contributing to the delinquency of a minor, were dropped. In Volusia County, a driver is facing charges after troopers say he drove recklessly, killing one person and hurting another in Ormond by the Sea. Scott March was arrested yesterday. Troopers say he got into a crash over the weekend on State Road A1A. According to FHP, March was speeding when he tried to pass another car. Troopers say March hit the other car, causing it to flip and eject the driver and passenger from that vehicle. The driver was taken to the hospital with serious injuries, and the passenger died. March is facing multiple charges, including vehicular homicide. He is now being held on no bond. Also in Volusia County, police in DeLand are investigating after 2 people were found dead in a home on Cape Cod Road. Officers responded to a call of cardiac arrest Saturday and found 49-year-old Scott Waldron and 47-year-old Padmini Waldron dead. DeLand police are now investigating. We'll provide updates for you once we learn more. The government shutdown has officially reached 35 days, tying the longest ever. For millions of Americans, that means they've been without SNAP benefits since last weekend. But that could soon be changing. News 6's Angie Casada shows us what's being done to help.
Yeah, that's the big question. The Trump administration says that they're going to use emergency funds to make payouts for partial SNAP benefits. But the big question is, when will that happen? The whole thing, though, continuing to put a strain on places like here at the Second Harvest Food Bank as more and more turn out for help. After orders from 2 federal judges, the White House says it will use emergency funds to cover SNAP benefits, but it will only be about half of what people normally receive.
It cost over $9 billion to fund SNAP for a month, and we only have, I think it's $5.2 billion in the contingency fund. So you have a big shortfall.
More than 40 million Americans rely on SNAP, including nearly 3 million in Florida. But those benefits didn't go out at the first of the month as the shutdown of the federal government continues.
I have to decide whether to put gas in my car or buy something to eat.
So far, though, no timeline has been given for when partial payments will hit cards. That has Democrats in Florida calling on Governor DeSantis to declare an emergency and use state funds to make up the funding gap. But DeSantis was quick to dismiss the idea Monday, instead calling on Democrats in the Senate to stop blocking the clean funding bill to reopen.
These Democrats are holding up the funding, and that the state of Florida should just all of a sudden create our own program to mimic it. First of all, we wouldn't be able to administer something. I mean, it would take a long time. So the easiest solution to it, if this is something you're concerned about, is that they should stop holding up the funding for the program.
Second Harvest says it's ready to respond and emphasizes in times of uncertainty, community matters most. Of course, as soon as we learn when those payments will go out, we'll be sure to let you know on air and on clickorlando.com. Reporting in Orlando, I'm Angie Casada, News 6.
And a breaking update just into our newsroom. President Donald Trump posting on his social media platform, Truth Social, about SNAP. Here's what he says in part, quote, "The SNAP benefits will only return when radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do, and not before.
Just a few minutes ago, this was a big hole in the drywall. This is how it looked before, and this is how it's going to look after in just a few minutes. I'm Eric Von Eyck, and getting results at home, I'm going to show you how to do this coming up.
And we're also tracking a nice big warm-up in store all across Central Florida. Taking a live look outside downtown Orlando. We're holding at 76. Today's our last day in the 70s. We talk about how warm things will get and a big dip in temperatures after the fact.
Here's a live look from our Mount Dora cam, looking so pretty on this Tuesday. You're watching News 6 at noon. We'll be right back.
Introducing the new $25 million Gold Rush Multiplier Scratch-Off from the Florida Lottery.
Hello.
Marcia.
Good to see you, Eric.
Eric and Jeff from News
Hi,
6.
Jeff.
Sir.
This is my husband, Ed.
Very nice to meet you, sir. Please don't get up.
No, don't get up. He's got the Parkinson's disease, we just found out, and he's almost totally blind.
I'm sorry. He looks great.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Ed, first of all, thank you for your service, sir.
Mhm.
Secondly, we're going to try and fix that dent in your wall.
He lost his balance there, and his elbow went into the wall.
Okay, here's what we're going to do, Marcia. We're going to cut a piece out of here and try and put it right here on your wall. And if we get it right, you should almost not notice it.
Okay, that'll be great.
First thing we want to do is figure out how far back the drywall is cracked and then cut a clean square around it. So now that we got this opened up, you can see it's a fairly large hole. So we're going to need some sort of backing here to support the new piece of drywall. These come in really handy. Paint stirring sticks. They slide right in, and now the new piece of drywall will have something to hold on to. So now that we have the bracing in the hole, we have to cut the patch to fit the hole. Now we use our drywall tape to tape up the edges. Now to fill in the gaps and cover the screw holes, we got something called 5-minute mud. It's a patching compound that's supposed to set in about 5 minutes. Okay, we ended up putting on a second coat of mud just to try and make it look as perfect as we possibly could, and then we had to sand it a second time. Now, last step is putting on some wall texture. This is orange peel texture. The idea is to try and cover up imperfections and match the original texture. And that's it. Marcia, now you can look.
All right. Oh, thank you. That looks so great. Fantastic job.
I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know where the hole
No,
is
not
or
at
was.
all. Now I won't have to look at it anymore.
Very happy we could help
Thank you.
ahead.
Looks great. All right. What also looks great, this beautiful shot from our Launch Credit Union camera out there at Port Canaveral. A little bit of cloud cover out there, but a lot of sunshine as well. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is here. Candace, some of us started in the 40s, but
Yes.
those 40s are behind us for the moment.
They're done. We're not going to see any more 40-degree kind of weather in the forecast for the rest of the week. And even after today, there will be no more 70s. You can see how quickly all of that cool air has kind of escaped back up to the north. And now all across Central Florida, we're going to switch that word from cool to mild right now out the door. If you're running those errands, getting things done at the 12 o'clock hour. Good afternoon to you guys there in DeLand, as well as Sanford at 76. Same through Orlando, holding at 79 in Cocoa Beach, I should say. Titusville 72. Still that cool spot there in Ocala. Now the winds are going to continue to pick up throughout the day. So beachgoers, boaters, both today and tomorrow, conditions will be a little dicey. So we're talking about a high risk rip current, small craft advisory, things like that. But on land, this breeze is going to continue to make things feel very nice outside, running right now between about 20 to 25 miles per hour. But now let's check on your hour-by-hour forecast for your Tuesday.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
So our highs this afternoon running back into the upper 70s, closing in on near 80 degrees. And notice later on tonight where areas started in the 40s and 50s, we're going to start off more like 50s and 60s tonight, early Wednesday morning. We're going to have nice clear skies, perfect viewing conditions to check out that supermoon. It is the second supermoon of the 3 consecutive ones to wrap up the year. We had one in October, one tonight, and another one early December. So again, the moon will look a little extra bigger, will look a little brighter and bigger. Looking at those temperature trends, again, we are talking about a nice gradual warm up. Today is going to really be the last day. Most of us will be in the 70s, then the return of the 80s, even mid 80s as we continue to really warm up. Mid 80s between about 85 and 86 degrees come Saturday and Sunday. But there are some big changes. This is something we're going to be watching over the next couple of days. So continue to check back because we're going to get a better handle on this big blast of cold air that's going to escape from the north, push its way south, starting about Monday into Tuesday. Notice this big blob of blue, and that is going to continue to hold on to us here in Central Florida till about November 12th. So we're talking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday potentially of next week. How cold will it get? Well, there are some areas and some models that continue to pick up temperatures in the 40s for areas as far south as Orlando. Could we get a couple of 30s in the mix across our northern zones possibly come Tuesday morning? That is Veterans Day on Tuesday. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, the temperatures will kind of change a little bit as we get a bit closer in, but of course we'll be watching that big change ahead next. But in the meantime, though, it is going to be all about those 80s throughout the weekend. Julie.
Candace, thank you. Wild moments off the South Florida coast after a boat goes up in flames. Coming up, the wild video we're seeing and the daring rescue by a Good Samaritan and first responders. And coming up on News 6 at 6.
I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden. A Central Florida couple is out of thousands of dollars after applying for a loan online. The couple believes their bank did not support them, but the bank says customers should be vigilant about scams. We'll have the story coming up.
A daring rescue off the South Florida coast after a boat goes up in flames Monday. The Broward County Sheriff's Office says deputies got report around 1:30 yesterday afternoon of a fire near Hollywood Beach. One person was rescued by a Good Samaritan, and according to officials, another was pulled from the water by the Coast Guard. Both men were okay. Investigators are looking into what caused this fire. Check out our all-new primetime lineup on News 6 Plus. Matt and Ginger have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Then go in-depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas at 9:30. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. Candace is back. It still feels really nice outside, although a little bit of a warm up on the way.
And we're going to have the temperatures back into those mid-80s by tomorrow and even into your weekend. As we take you here throughout the next couple of days, you can see up to about 85, 86 as of right now. It looks like the warmest spot will come this weekend. A big shift compared to what we experienced over the weekend. But notice on Monday, temperatures are dropping back down into the 70s. Could get even colder by the middle of next week. So that's something we're going to be watching pretty closely. As of now, nothing new in the tropics, just the way we like it. So overall, pretty good news across the board as conditions are going to continue to stay mostly dry all week long.
All right, Candace, thank you.
Sure.
Switch over to the News 6 Plus streaming app or click Orlando.com to watch News 6 Extra. Our next newscast is at 4. We hope you have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.